And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special presentation on the status of India ESDM market opportunity, for which I'd like to call forward Mr. Richard Puthota, the Senior Director Business Development, McDermott, Alpha Electronic Solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all put our hands together.
Okay, good morning everyone. So we are part of this ecosystem on the material side. So we have that privilege to understand and go to every customers making different products, and that actually helps us to understand what really they do and what are the markets that are really emerging in the country, and as well as globally through our engagements with our major OEMs all across the world. When we have some projects for new development, we also understand where this industry is heading to. So that is going to give us, a lot of insights which I want to share today with you. And there are some slides with the numbers which may be familiar to you. They say, there's a saying, don't preach to the same choir, but please bear with me on those numbers. But I would still give you when we made a decision on the next 5 years, we don't just look at the technology side alone. For business, we also look at numbers. So when we looked at numbers, I can say that though there are multiple segments which are doing great in the country, I'm going to specifically target few segments which are really going to give us numbers for anyone to really plan for the next 5 years. So in that, what stands out for us is automotive, especially EV side. That's going to give us a lot of numbers. And of course, with the customs duty imposed for the white goods appliances, that business we expect the numbers are going to be great, at least for the next few years. So we'll look into that. Okay. So when I said about emerging technologies, when I talked about emerging technologies, you look at things where we were some time ago and where we are heading to. So all I would say is increasing complexity of electronic content in everything, what we do at home or drive or we use, and increasing just now what Sudarshan said, increasing durability and reliability requirements. These are the drivers, and the technologies are today where we are heading is autonomous transportation. That's what I said. I will talk about those side of automotive today. And IoT is going to do that, cloud computing, okay? And of course, the wearable side also. I have a slide on that also. So from the current technologies of just having, smartphones, we are heading towards it. And the electronic content which is getting into every device, not everything we use, and in particular, automotive, that's going to provide us the volumes, the technologies emerging there, like advanced driver assist systems, sensors, cameras. So we'll talk about it, and especially even the telecom side. That's a value side. It may not be volume, but that will be a great value portion of that. I just wanted to give you this image slide. You please go through the value chains involved in every aspect of this cross section of a device itself, right from the substrate to the PC board to the interconnect materials there in the chip, the lead frames they would have used to make this. And this is phenomenal. People think that just a phone or a power electronics device is just what we see from outside. There is so much happening behind. And if you look at a PCB itself, since I come from that background, I would say there are more than 35 processes involved to make a PCB. At any one step of the process, you screw that up, finish, it's considered gone. So there is so much of materials behind it, and this industry is also the supportive industry to the mainstream. And this industry is gaining a lot on what's happening today in electronics. Especially today, the electronics is considered the flag bearer of any industry today. Okay, so continues to transform lives, business, and economies across the globe. And India. We are going to look at 1 trillion digital economy. These are the drivers, and with the 5G networks, EV, IoT are driving the accelerated adoption of electronic products, and the country's electronic export also going to reach 120 billion by year 26. So just one slide on where we are heading. India as a country, we will be moving towards number 3 spot very soon, and that gives us a good positive vibes. And look at the countries leading in both production and consumption. So we have that distinct advantage compared to some of the smaller neighbors around us. We don't just be a manufacturer, but we are a great consumer also. That's a big advantage for India. And if you look at where we are today, so we are, like yesterday I heard Mr. Ratulal telling us we are at the right time, at the cusp of the big leap forward. I think this is the time. From here onwards, I don't think we'll look back, and it's going to be, multiple X growth way forward. So we are at 115 billion estimated in 2023. And the next decade, we are going to become, probably the manufacturing powerhouse for electronics. So driven by local demand as well as competitiveness for exports. And even that was discussed yesterday. We are not just going to be local, addressing local demand, we'll be doing for the world also. And rising growth expected in production driven by both domestic and exports. So this is from the global perspective, from the Prismark, I took this slide. And if you look at the greener highlighted growth CAGR for each and every segment. Now I'm getting into the segments where India is going to be, in advantageous position, or where opportunities are going to emerge. So even globally, we are aligned also. So if you look at it, our recent announcements from the government are motivating local manufacturing for IT hardware is going to help us. And communication networks, we had a lull in the last couple of quarters, but I understand is going to do well from the next second half of next year. And consumer side, I also already told you, there's a lot of demand coming from the white goods. And automotive, that's what I'm going to begin with. That's going to be the numbers game actually for that, where we see a lot of electronic content going in there. So that's where we can take advantage. So of course, smartphone mobile segment is going to grow. Consumer electronics, automotive at 25%. That's what attracted me. And the numbers, computer hardware, industrial at 14%. And one thing we see also, we address that market also, PV solar business. And I am seeing megawatts, they're being installed today, capacities from major players like Adani's and Reliance. They are doing great on that. Of course, anti-dumping duty on bare PCBs up to 6 layers. What we were just discussing, the lots happening. It's just began actually. I would say that the collaborations happening now, and the MO is getting signed for the next leap is happening now. So let me begin with the automotive electronics. So you can see that EV specific electronic content, that's going to be ever growing. Okay, and the CAGR is about 21% year over year, and this is going to further grow. And this is advanced driver assist systems, electronic content. This is getting really popular with the autonomous vehicles, EV vehicles. So you can see the multiple things involved in the ADAS electronic content also, LiDAR, kind of cameras, sensors. So they are going to be, required here. And India is going to be one of the largest manufacturers of, vehicles way forward. So FAME 2, see, we got multiple scenarios here. I mean, a regular, a robust scenario, then probably a conservative scenario. We have estimated that. So both central governments and state governments, so they have come out with, sales penetration of 80% in two-wheelers and three-wheelers, 30% of private cars, 70% of commercial cars, and 40% of buses by 2030. That's the target. This is the best case scenario we can say, but we have also done it so conservatively. In the next slide I will show you that we really cut down, say 128 million units. Okay, look at the number of PCBs that go into each and every unit. Like yesterday, Bosch team was here. So even for two-wheeler, they have really about 7-8 PCB assemblies that go into a two-wheeler. Displays, they also have a ECU now for a two-wheeler. Enfield has a ECU now for a two-wheeler. And on the other scenario, you see, business usual scenario, you see, we are with the 56 million units. And on the side of, worst case scenario, we still have 37 million units. 37 million units for two-wheelers, at least conservative estimates, 5 assemblies per vehicle. Imagine the volume it can provide to every player here. So this is the sales forecast on the, best case, business usual, as well as the conservative estimates, worst case scenario. Okay, this again the numbers which I just got from my colleague yesterday on the sales forecast. So in fact, we have a dedicated team to address this segment in our company. So that's the importance of this segment. And within this, for component manufacturers, you have power electronics here. This is going, Mr. Gulati is here. He knows what's the kind of value is going to drive for them. Okay, these are the emerging opportunities for even component manufacturers. So power electronics on EV side. So this is getting big here, and the material side also is getting bigger here with development of new materials for them. Okay, not forgetting IC engines, actually IC powered automotive, two-wheelers or cars. Even the electronic content within those IC automotive vehicles are also ever increasing. Today, I would say 30-35% of electronic content is available there on the value of the car itself. So these are the OEMs, tier ones, now doing electronics for automotive industry in India. So these are all people making ECUs, they are making displays, lighting. Ram sir, probably it is prohibiting you to take picture. So, no, I'm joking. Just joking. Okay. So these are the, tier ones and OEMs. We go there, they make lighting, sensors, exterior, antennas, and you name any electronic, products inside the car, they are making that. Okay, other active OEMs and tier ones here. Okay, so I just mapped out some of the PCBs that go into a car. This is a regular car. What that gets into a regular car as well. Now let's jump into hearables and wearables. These numbers are really amazing. So look at the numbers, the growth rate it has given in the smartwatches. I think the wristband is slowly dying down, but you look at smartwatches and earwear. So these are the growth rates we are seeing for them. The numbers speak for themselves. And India is emerging as a key player here with the Indian brands showcasing. And there will be a time, probably India will be the number one in this hearables and wearables way forward. Appliances side. I mean, it's amazing. Sri City, an integrated business city at Tada, is going to be called Cool Capital of India. And you name the major OEMs involved there, they have all set up shops there. So they have committed about 3,820 crores there already. You name them, they all have their facilities there in Sri City. So these are the announcements there. And consumer electronics, okay. Look at air conditioners, 9.3 million air conditioners in 2023 they sold. And it's going to increase because I believe in India, the penetration is still very less. Okay, the revenue out of this market was about 5.8 billion, but it is projected to grow annually at 17.29% again. So the ownership of air conditioners in India has tripled since 2010, reaching 24 units per 100 households. And this is going to double, I believe, in the next couple of years. IT hardware, as we discussed, due to the government regulations now, it is being forced to make in India, and this is going to change again. A lot of scenarios here, and gives opportunities for people who run major shops here to have them filled up with this business. Components, these are the upstreams and downstreams. You can see we are not very comfortable here, as this has been a major topic of discussion yesterday. And I would say we are strong in the center, and we need to address those gaps. And we see on the semiconductor side investments coming in. So that will get addressed not immediately, but over a period of time. But what we can address, we talked about it yesterday, and probably the value add from the existing average 15 to 17%, even if it goes to 30%, considered really, good, and we'll have more opportunities for manufacturers here. And here I would like to say that, when I looked at number of SMT lines in India, our new estimate we did a quarter ago, we found across the country something like 1,500 plus SMT lines from 950 SMT lines just 2 years ago. So that's the kind of investments happening in the capital equipment side as well. So many lines are coming to, getting installed in India. Okay. So this is a slide I actually stole yesterday from Yogesh. So, this speaks by itself. Okay, on the components requirement, there's a big gap with that we need to address. And as I told you, on the semiconductor side is getting addressed, and we need to talk to our MATI. We talked about it, how we can frame that up for okay. So PCB growth in the 5G network will peak. So this is the kind of MOU they signed yesterday, where that will address probably some of that gaps for Sudarshan as well as Karthik. If you are looking for PCBs made in India for your company, all this time you are really importing. Right now this is the time, probably in about 1 year, I hope you will be buying from Hosur. So I wish that to happen. So there's a good demand here. We know the numbers, $3 billion, and we are not there even with about 10-15% locally made, that too on the lower side of technology. High density interconnect, we are still not able to bring it here. Probably KCC will bring that, and things will follow after that. And as my good friend Neeraj was telling me, there are so many things coming. He has signed an NDA, so you won't let his even close friend know about it. We'll wait to hear from you soon, Neeraj. Okay. And as he was telling me yesterday, it's not just the PC fab required. We need laminates. We need substrates for even the semiconductor industry. And we need materials that go into making a PCB, chemistries, solder masks, dry films, prepregs. So these are all the materials that if that industry comes here, the value chain will really expand, and this size of the industry will become phenomenal. We are not just looking at finished product value. I mean, the ecosystem, if it comes here, that will be phenomenal. Just a global forecast numbers, I'm not going to dwell much on that. It all shows positive, so that's a good sign. Okay, so again, India's numbers here, we already saw that multiple times. So we still import a lot as a PCB and as PCB. Okay, so some of the PCBs that go into electronics, auto electronics. So this is one thing, energy meters. I mean, the numbers are increasing due to the digitization of meters, not only for households, including the farming. And wisely, one of the largest meters manufacturer, energy meter manufacturers in the western side, he is going, yesterday we got that announcement done, right? They are going for a PCB factory by themselves, a captive facility, and also for others. So that indicates such a demand for that industrial electronics as well. So that's going to expand. And EV charging, don't forget this. I mean, not just in the vehicle, on the charging side, you see the kind of investments happening there. Again, the out of China movement we all talked about is an opportunity for us, not just for Vietnam, Malaysia, Thailand, but India must grab a major chunk of that. Okay, so no single country can fully replicate the combination of logistical efficiency, low cost, and abundant manufacturing talent that has made China, but we can be at least taking the key components and work on them. Okay, what happened? So I just have one slide left, I think, before that. Anyway, that I just summarized that. Okay. Okay. So again, India is one of the fastest growing economies. We all know that, especially in electronics today. And we have a share of just 1.5%. Imagine we are doubling it, tripling it, at least bringing it 10%. Imagine what kind of manufacturing that would happen here. A huge rise in demand for electronics, especially post-COVID. India has a large domestic market, majority of electronics imported today. So unable to respond to the rising demand, leading to growing trade deficit. So that's one of the main concern for even government of India. The industry has potential to provide millions of jobs. We talked about it yesterday, directly and indirectly. That's a big motivator for even government to give us jobs. And China, with its rising labor cost and geopolitical situation, an opportunity for India. And the last line, which is important, abundant volumes to emerge, especially in EV, two-wheeler, consumer electronics, appliances market. So with that, I'll stop here. I just went breeze through, but we can always discuss later if you want to discuss. Thank you so much. Thanks, Elsina, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, sir.